a lot of people out there, and that's what I'm running on.
I know my district and your districts are very similar to my own. It's been almost 5 years ago to the day, almost to the day, that I was over in Iraq as an Army captain, and this was in the days where we didn't have internet or telephone, and we hung on every bit of news we could get from back home. And I had this little hand-cranked radio that I would listen to when we weren't out on missions. And I was really curious about this story back in Texas about a brave group of individuals who were fighting tyranny in our own state. And you might remember that in summer of 2003 is when Tom DeLay and Tom Craddock and other cronies sought to gerrymander and completely distort our electoral system in the state. And a brave group of Democrats went to other states to try to deny them a quorum so that they could block the vote, which was the only way they could stop that from happening. Ultimately, they weren't successful, and we lost a lot of seats because of redistricting. And so I really find a lot of happiness when I look here on the stage with me and see that we have other candidates who may be able to make up the deficit. At one point in time, we were about 20 seats shy, I think, in the House of Representatives. Today, we're 5 seats shy, I believe. And that's pretty phenomenal if you think it's only been 5 years. And now we got folks like y'all stepping up to run, so I applaud you, and I caution you, be careful what you wish for. I think that this job has been the most rewarding $600 a month job I've ever had. So you will not find solace in the compensation, but if you're passionate about public service and good policy and taking care of children, taking care of teachers, taking care of our environment, things that I heard all of you talk about that are all parts of my platform, so I won't go over them more. I applaud you, and I think you'll win. I guess since CHIP was covered, and insurance reform, and public education, and higher education reform, all those things are cornerstones of my platform. I'll talk about a few, I don't want to say ancillary items, they're equally important, but things I just don't get a chance to talk a whole lot about because I spend my time talking about those other issues. I'll talk to you about one that I see coming around, and we see one of our judges here, Judge Ginsburg's with us, judicial selection. You see, there's this group called Texas for Lawsuit Reform, so-called group anyway. They're anything but. They do not like what happened in Dallas County in 2006. They do not like the fact that voters stepped up and elected a group of judges that believe in a fair judicial system where both sides have equal access to our courts, because that's not what we had before. So what they are proposing is a mechanism by which Governor Perry picks our judges for us. 38% Rick Perry will pick your judges for you. Sound like a good plan? No. They tried it actually in the last session and we defeated it, but I know it's coming up again. I was speaking to the Dallas Greater Chamber a few weeks ago, and one of my Republican colleagues mentioned that this was one of her top priorities. It wasn't air quality, it wasn't making college more affordable, it wasn't taking care of our public education system, which has been given back burner treatment for so long. It was judicial selection, taking away our right to vote. So that's something that all of you, I know, are aware of, but I hope that all of you are aware of it now and will speak out about it. There's so many other things facing this state. I think the other big issue we're going to have come up next session is transportation. The Texas Department of Transportation is up for what's called sunset. And sunset is a process whereby the state reviews each of its 150 state agencies I think it's every 12 years. And they look at them from what their mission is, what they should be doing, and what they're actually doing. And they're seeing if other agencies have redundant responsibilities. And there's already been a recommendation that TxDOT possibly be abolished and we start anew. And that may not be a bad idea. We had a lot of trouble in the last legislative session trying to rein them in. Y'all are all familiar with the Trans-Texas Corridor. You're familiar with this sweetheart deal that we're going to give a Spanish corporation named Centro. One of our roads we paid for with our taxpayer money for several $1 billion less than what it was actually worth. We stopped that. We stopped the Trans-Texas Corridor. But even with our votes and the regulations or the legislation we passed, we still see TxDOT determined to outsource and privatize our roads, whereby we have no accountability, no control over these highways. So I think that transportation might be the top issue, or one of the hottest issues in the next session. And let me add one thing. I had a daughter that was born a week ago. My wife is really mad at me for doing that. Her little boy actually turns 2 tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to stay with you all evening. I'm going to stay through a few questions, but then I'm going to leave. My campaign manager